This is the story of a young girl from the lush green valley of Swat. A girl whose voice rose from quiet mountains and echoed across the entire world. This is the journey of Malala Yousafzai, a journey of courage, pain, hope, and a light that refused to fade. Malala was born in a humble yet deeply passionate family. Her father, Ziauddin, was a teacher, a man who believed that education is not just a right but the foundation of a dignified life. Her mother, Tur Pekai, carried a quiet strength, the kind that shapes a child long before the world notices her. In their small home stood a library of dreams, and among those dreams, Malala found her first love, books. The valley of Swat was once known for its beauty, the rivers that sang, the mountains that guarded, the breeze that carried the scent of pine wood. But slowly, shadows began to spread. Extremist forces rose, and with them came fear, restrictions, and silence. Girls' schools were burned, classrooms were emptied, and children walked the streets with lowered eyes. But Malala did not lower hers. Even as a young girl, she carried a fire within, a belief that girls deserved to read, to learn, to dream. Encouraged by her father, she began to speak out. She wrote under the pen name Gul Makai, documenting the fear that had seeped into her valley, the nights when explosions echoed, the mornings when school bags stayed untouched, and the heartbreaking feeling of losing education piece by piece. Her words were simple, honest, and powerful. Through her blog, the world began to hear the voice of a child living in a war against knowledge. And that voice grew louder when she appeared on national television, boldly questioning, "How dare they take away my right to education?" But courage has a cost. On a quiet October afternoon in 2012, as Malala sat in her school bus surrounded by friends, a gunman stepped in, asked her by name, and fired 3 bullets. In that split second, the world stood still. Malala's small body fell, her voice was silenced, but only for a moment. The attack shook the globe. People prayed, cried, protested. She was rushed from hospital to hospital, eventually taken to the United Kingdom for advanced treatment. And there, between life and death, Malala fought, not just for survival, but for her mission. When she opened her eyes, she didn't ask, "Why me?" She asked, "What now?" Her recovery became a symbol of resilience. She returned stronger, her voice sharper, her purpose clearer. On her 16th birthday, standing before the United Nations, she delivered a speech that felt like a sunrise after a long night. She said, "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." And with that, she became a global torchbearer for education. Her books, I Am Malala and Malala's Magic Pencil, remind the world that change begins when someone believes they can make a difference, even if that someone is a child. Today, Malala stands not just as a survivor, not just as an activist, but as a symbol of what happens when a single voice refuses to be silenced. Her journey teaches us that bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision that something else matters more. Her story is proof that hope can rise from the darkest of places, that education can break the strongest chains, and that a girl from a quiet valley can inspire millions across continents. This is Malala's legacy, a promise to every girl who has ever held a dream close to her heart, a promise that her voice matters, her future matters, her education matters. And as long as Malala's story is told, that promise will continue to light the world.